Okay, so we've just had our first short film showcase of the festival weekend. I'm delighted to be joined by some of our filmmaker guests with me now. Would you like to just introduce yourselves and your role in the films and the name of the films, please? Start with yourself, John.
I'm John Ferrer. I was the director and co-writer of Trial 22.
My name's Harry. I'm the co-writer and script supervisor of Trial 22.
Pupino, I'm director and producer of Rain Rain Go Away.
Thalia, Kent-Egan, the writer of Rain Rain Go Away.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. First question, let's start with you, John. Is this the first time you've seen your film on a large screen, or is it?
No, we've played at a few festivals already, but it's still just as daunting as the first time. I still sweat and hate it every single time and question why I'm doing this. But yeah.
Why is that? Do you see things that you would like to change in it, or?
All the time. The thing is, every time you've completed a film, and by the time you're in festivals, obviously you made it. With a lot of these films, it's sometimes up to like 2 years ago, maybe even a little bit more since you like started making it. You've changed so much, not only just as like the filmmaker, but the way you'd approach that project is just completely different after you've made it. It's it's frustrating, but it's part of it.
Sebastiano, is this the first time you've seen your film?
No, we screened already in 8 film festivals, but it's probably the 3rd time I'm seeing on a screen.
Okay. Do you still see things in your film that you'd like to change, or are you happy with the process?
No, I don't want to change anything anymore. That's it. I'm done. It's closed.
Sure. John, so you were here last year with Cyanide.
Yes.
Film. Trial 22, absolutely wonderful. Short, brilliant.
Thank you.
How did you start the process of making this film? Where the ideas come from you two?
So Cyanide I'd done without Harry, co-writer here, initially, and we'd wanted to develop it into a feature some point down the line, but obviously it's going to be quite an expensive feature to make, so instead we started coming up with an idea for another short film set in the same world with a bit more budget, being able to show off a bit of monster action and stuff. So I came to Harry and we just started, I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
There's not just another chapter in the world of Cyanide until we get to make a feature. That's kind of it right now.
Yeah, so visually the film's really strong. There's some really striking stuff in there. Did the idea come, what was the first thing that popped into your head? Was there a story beat, or was there actually, did you start with some kind of visual?
Well, I think, I don't know if you remember, I think I know when you came to me, you had like a PowerPoint's worth of stuff, and you were just kind of like, here's generally what I want, here's like, I think your main idea was just, I want a 1-room monster horror. Like you would just kind of had that vibe was what you wanted, and then you sort of was like, then let's see what you want to do. And I think I remember I gave you a whole draft of something and you were like, yeah, not that, but like, can we do this instead? And so I was like, yeah, that's fine. So we went from there, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was just inspired by like a game of Granny's Keys or something, or Werewolf, I don't know, there's different versions of this. Where you have to creep
Granny's
up.
Keys?
Oh God, now I sound just weird, don't I? It's when you have to it's like red light, green light from Squid Games, but yeah, that was it. I'd actually forgotten all of that, so that's really interesting for me to hear as well. That's how it started out. Oh my God, I'm dripped on.
How many...
That was my spit, just like...
I don't know what that was.
How many drafts did you go through before you got to the final?
Oh boy. I want to say... I think after shooting script was maybe like 5, 6?
Yeah.
Somewhere there. So I don't think we don't really count the ones where it's like, can we just like make this error, make this, you can change it a lot, but like major kind of drafts and finishes, I think it was maybe 5 or 6, which I think for us is a little bit lower than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Rain Rain Go Away makers, how did you come up with the idea of your short?
So I always wanted to make a horror film with my producing partner, Emanuele, who's also the VFX supervisor, and I've been blessed to meeting Thalia, who wrote the script, so original idea.
Yeah, it came from, I direct films as well, and they're usually about like trauma and that sort of stuff. And I just had the idea from a friend of mine had like a tattoo that was from something commemorating her grandfather, and I just thought, what would happen if you found out something terrible?
Right, okay. Yeah, it's a very powerful short. How long did the idea kind of come, how long was it on the page? How long were you writing or rewriting? Did it come
I
quickly?
didn't get to it very long. I think it was quite a quick process. I think we didn't do like loads and loads of drafts. I think it was fairly sort of quick. I like to write quite quickly, so that always helps, I think.
And how did you two meet to start collaborating?
On Mendy.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he actually did the course, the directing course that I did, like years before me or something. Yeah.
Goldsmiths.
Yeah.
Okay, Goldsmiths, okay. So how long was your shoot, you guys, on there?
It was 3 days shoot. Yeah.
What was your biggest challenge on the shoot?
On the shoot, so because we had like a mix of practical effects and VFX, and the most difficult part was to kind of first of all come up with the idea of how to make the tattoo and then how to remove it. So that was the most difficult part, and we were like thinking about different ways, and then we came up with the final decision to make it all in VFX and add the practical effect on top.
Was there any audience questions at this point?
What was the greatest challenge in your projects to overcome?
Probably the whole VFX editing part, because we had like 23 shots of VFX, some shorter than others, some longer, and mixing all of it and kind of following out the whole art, the whole process, and doing the VFX myself as well. That was the most difficult part so far.
Trial 22?
Similarly, I think it was just a matter of, I mean, I'd never, as director, handled SFX before, so all that stuff was just kind of completely new to me, and it just ate into the time, ate into the budget, and like, we obviously didn't have very much money to make it, so it was a fucking nightmare. But we had a good SFX team. It was Rebecca Wheeler, who's
Rebecca.
Yeah, amazingly talented person. She did the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey SFX as well. I think that's she's got a fun resume.
Yeah, so I was going to ask a question about the, what do we call it, the beast, the monster?
Alan. Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah.
It's a good name for a monster. So, to the layman, how much of that is makeup prosthetics, and how much is, if you're happy to talk about the breaking?
Yeah, it's mostly, it's just a sort of headpiece. It's a few pieces that are kind of glued on just to give the actor a bit of mobility. I wasn't watching the process of them applying it, but it was that, and then it was some big monster gloves, and then the rest of it is just body paint. It's just, that's the actor, Maxwell Whitaker's body right there, in all its natural monstrous shape.
And the part that like you don't quite see on there, 'cause it doesn't get many close-ups, but the thing that really sold it up close was he had the teeth as well. There was like actual teeth on teeth that really made it look like he didn't have that part of his mouth sort of thing. So like when you saw it on close-up, that whole part looked exposed, and it was like that was the coolest bit from that suit for sure.
How did you go about getting your films funded? Do you want to start down the end there, Ray? How did you get your films funded? Are you self-funded?
Yes. And we had like a little crowdfunding campaign, and it was very little money, but it was all my savings.
Same, it was self-funded, now in debt. Good times. I don't know why we keep doing this.
Keep doing it because you keep making great films. So
Thank you.
Let's talk about. Your shoot down in. Did you say how many days it was?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
How did you find your cast?
Still Mandy.com,
okay.
really. I don't work for them, so
Mandy.com.
it's not a commercial, but it's really
Not
good.
sponsored.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Got a t-shirt, yeah.
Not sponsored by Metcalf, we should say. Any more audience questions? Yep, one just in the middle here.
11:22. I must say, I love that film. Whatever you think you could have done to improve, okay, that's your business. But as a viewer, fan, loved it. I know you said you was in debt, so maybe that answers the question, but are you looking to expand it into a full feature?
Yeah, I think the idea right now, I've got a feature outline, I've got an idea, and we've now made, I think, 3 shorts in the world of cyanide. We've got about 20 minutes of film set in this world already. So part of me is wondering why we keep wasting time doing that and not just trying to make a feature. But yeah, that's the goal. Maybe in a couple of years, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it is a money thing more than anything, but like, I think as we keep on making films, like we've got one kind of coming up where we're looking more into the funding option things and like learning slowly that kind of extra finance whole world as a part of filmmaking that, you know, when you start out, you don't know as well, but now we're kind of getting more into that. I think it's give us some more time and we'll hopefully get there, but it's also monsters, VFX, all this kind of stuff, so it just climbs the budget, but hopefully one day.
I think just going over to Rain Rain Go Away, I think there's a potential for a longer kind of exploration in that story. Have you got any plans, any thoughts around that?
I feel like there is a feature film in there, but it really depends on Seb if he can do it again.
I'm up for it. We need to find somebody willing to fund it.
To get back on Mandy. That's what you need to do.
Right, so let's just have a quick talk about what we're working on next. John, do you want to... What's your project looking up?
A few little shorts at the moment. I'm co-directing an animated comedy short. Harry and I are developing and getting just about, it's about to happen. We're doing a horror comedy about a killer chef. And then I'm trying to get my first feature off the ground. So at some point, maybe early next year, but that'll be a rom-com because we can't afford horror. It's too expensive.
Are you working on anything else, Harry?
Oh yes, right, me, right. Sorry, I'm just like John and I are like symbiotically fused. Yeah, that is a good point. I am doing that. But yeah, so the killer chef thing I was all working with John and I, and that's quite a nice one because like it's usually John and I are kind of like at the very first together. Both of us are like instantly together, and then it spans from there. Whereas this, I ended up bringing you on, I think, which is quite an interesting thing. It didn't start with us; it kind of went on from there. But I've got that coming up, and then also I've just got in contact with the East London Theatre Collective guys. I wrote a play that they want to put on, which is nice, a little kind of short play sort of thing. So I'm meeting with those guys, getting that started, the ball rolling on that. So that's hopefully going to be quite fun.
Sebastiano?
No, not at the moment. A few ideas, but nothing that I'm in love with. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just in post for a horror film I just made, and we shot it in November, so we're just doing the post for that now.
Okay. As a writer-director?
Both, yeah.
Okay. What's the general gist?
It's set in a Greek Orthodox church, and it's about abortion.
Wow. Another fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the early times. Right, final question. We're on a horror festival. You're on a desert island. You've got one horror film, or sci-fi horror, that you can watch, and only that one until the end of time. What do you choose? Just having a look who might have an answer for me already.
I've got the same answer as I did last year.
Go on, yeah.
It's still Jaws. Jaws every day of the week.
Yeah. Although on a desert island, would you want that? Would you never go in the sea?
That's how I stay alive.
Only because I only watched it not too long ago, but I feel like Aliens is a wonderful call. Had that be mine.
For me, it would be anything from John Carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any in particular?
There's this one, yeah, In the Mouth of Madness.
Okay,
This one, my
yeah.
favorite, but not many like it.
Maybe like Don't Look Now. I don't know, something from the 70s.
Nice. Very good. Thank you all for coming and submitting your film. Congratulations on your films. They're all wonderful.
Thank you.
And can I have a round of applause, please, for our filmmakers?